And welcome to High School Sports Unlimited for another week covering all things high school as far as North Georgia is concerned. Right now we are focused with football, right smack dab in the football season. About to get down and dirty with sub-region play. I'm Judd Higginbotham. That's Morgan Lee. He is sports editor for AccessNorthGA.com. He has outdressed me today, by the way. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. Good to see you. Scott McIntyre producing back behind the scenes as well, making sure everything goes along just nicely. All right, as usual, a lot to get to in the next hour, including your Gainesville JC's Player of the Week. Got a lot of games to get to from this past Friday and a lot to preview. Like I said, sub-region play is coming up. This is when things get very, very interesting. But let's start with some games from last week. And let's start with Chestatee High School, the War Eagles, at home against Monroe area. The Purple Hurricanes, really in a lot of ways, this is kind of the game of the week. I mean, great comeback for Chestatee. It comes up a little bit short, but you got to see a lot of this game, and it was a great comeback for the War Eagles over the final two quarters.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you're talking about they were down 21-41 at one point and came back and made it a great game. Had Monroe on the ropes. It got down to the Monroe 28 with about 35 seconds to play, and really had them feeling nervous at 41-35 and threw an interception that ended it. But as I said, both in my game story and then again on Monday, I know Chestatee's not interested in moral victories, but I feel like that was certainly something that they could take. That was a loss they could take something positive from.
I think absolutely it's a loss that I took something from, and that's that Chestatee's a really good team. I mean, I was very impressed with the way they came back against Dawson County 2 weeks ago. I'm almost more impressed with them hanging in there against Monroe area and just about getting the win. It seems like a team that hasn't had that much success, in its program in general, maybe kind of learned something about itself this past week.
Certainly. I think, you define your character in games like this, and I think that they showed that, as they did in the Dawson game, that they're a team that's not going to give up. They've got a lot of self-belief, which is impressive for a team that is coming off a 3-7 season and hasn't made the playoffs since I guess 2007, 2006. So yeah, you're talking about a team that is really kind of taking it upon itself to take the next step, both on the field and psychologically. And a lot of that starts with the quarterback Jordan DeGraff. I mean, see him scrambling around right there. The kid played an amazing game. I mean, not just, everybody knows that he can run the ball. He threw the ball 25 times in this game and had over 220 yards passing and 2 touchdowns through the air. Just an impressive effort from him for a kid who, got some playing time last year, but I don't think anybody expected him to come in and be a star.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of balance on this offense as well. 228 rushing yards, 212 passing yards. That's outstanding balance for any high school team. After the game, Morgan Lee actually got to talk with Stan Luttrell, head coach of Chestatee High School, about this very close loss.
All right, Coach, obviously I know not the way you want to end it, but you had to be proud of the way your team just fought and never gave in. Down 2 scores there and you come back and have a chance to win it.
Again, a team effort to even have a chance to win, coming back from a deficit at halftime, and the way we played in the fourth quarter, and we made play after play to give ourselves an opportunity to have a chance to win in the last minute of the game. I just love our kids. I love how hard they play. They're playing hard and playing together, and I think we still got a lot of big things to do this year.
Sure. I know as a coach you never want to talk about moral victories, but do you feel like you gained some ground tonight, learned some things about your team?
Oh, absolutely. Our guys are in it for 4 quarters. We always talk about being for 4 quarters and then some, whatever it takes. And I think these guys were ready to do that tonight. We made some mistakes early that put us in that situation. But what a team effort to be able to come back and have a chance to win at the end.
Talk a little about your quarterback. I mean, he threw the ball, a ton. I mean, 21, 22 times tonight, and did a great job. Just talk about the composure he showed throwing the ball.
Jordan, like I've said every week, is continuing to get better and being more comfortable within the offense. And we had some guys banged up tonight. Montre and Quan, neither one played tonight, and Jordan's getting better as well as the supporting cast. And I tell you, this team is growing up a little bit more every week, and that's what we want as a coach, especially starting sub-region play next week.
Gotcha, Coach. Listen, I appreciate
Luttrell talking about the fact that, he was proud of his team, and for a lot of reasons, even though they got the loss. One bad thing is that a couple of the running backs, Chesty's running backs, go down. Quan Clark, Montre Tate. Do we know kind of the injury update on those two guys?
Yeah, actually got a chance to talk to Coach Luttrell yesterday, being Tuesday, and he said he expects both of them to be able to play this weekend. Quan was a lingering thing, and he played one play and came out. He didn't expect Montre's injury to really hamper him much this week either. And I think, as we saw, even if both of those guys, can't go, Brandon Thompson's a kid that, is not only explosive, but he showed that he can handle the load as an every down back. And Kelly Arthur and some of the other guys came in and also made some big plays. So this is, by no means a one-trick pony here.
No, absolutely not. We talk about the stable of running backs they have, and now, hopefully those two guys can play, but maybe Brandon Thompson is ready to kind of be the feature back. He's got plenty of speed, definitely. One bad trend for Chestatee that could make Chestatee fans nervous against their game against North Hall coming up this week. We'll get to that in a little bit. All right, next game, Buford gets a win against Lovett. Not really in Buford-like fashion. They beat Lovett 35-7. Our cameras are rolling to this one as well. Just a 7-0 game of the half. That might be the shocker of the whole weekend. It was just 7-0 in halftime. Hey, give Lovett a lot of credit, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's one of those things where it's like, we're only trailing 7-0 at the half to Buford. Yay, that may be a moral victory.
We're losing, but we're not losing by a lot.
Exactly. A lot of that, I think, was more due to Buford's inability to execute quite when they needed to on offense. They rolled up a ton of yards. They just didn't score. Lovett, on the other hand, didn't roll up anything, really. Buford just totally shut them down, as that defense can do. I said in my 5 Things column on Monday, it's even if that Buford offense does stutter, how are you ever going to beat them when they got a defense like that? Because defense doesn't really take nights off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like Randy Johnson or Greg Maddox back in the day. Oh, the offense need to get you 1 or 2 runs, and they're going to do the rest. The same thing. Give Buford a touchdown. Give Buford a field goal. More than likely, you got a good chance of winning the game. You're right. Under 100 yards of offense, total offense for the number 6 team in the state. Lovett only drops to number 10. That's how good Buford is. You lose to Buford, you stay in the top 10 in the state. But good job for them. I think this could end up being a very impressive win, and one that maybe the guys think about. Buford always seems to be ready to play no matter what, no matter who they're playing against. But a chance for them to know what they need to do in a close ball game. They come out and rattle off 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. That's how they answered it.
Yeah, just actually got a chance to talk to Coach Jeff Simpson this morning. And he was very excited that they were in a game like that because, frankly, they have blown out a lot of people. And when you get into the playoffs, no matter how good you are, you're going to be tested eventually. And it's good to know that they can respond to that test, to those close games when things aren't necessarily going exactly how you want. Coach Simpson was very pleased with the second half effort, especially on offense. I mean, they came out and ended up putting 28 points on the board. And I think that 7-0, really, frankly, as much as the coaches were probably annoyed that they weren't beating Lovett by worse, in fact, that may end up they may end up being happier with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Buford does get the win, 35-7. They'll be in action again this week. All right, Lakeview Academy. Lakeview Academy makes our A block, baby. They get the win against Hebron Christian. 10-7 was the final score in that one. Congratulations to the Lions. The first win of the season for Lakeview after getting 4 last year. And they had to do it in dramatic fashion, scoring a late touchdown.
Yeah, Ted Reynolds gets the 26-yard touchdown run with 47 seconds left to seal that game. And if he hadn't, obviously, that would have been another loss, another close loss. They've had 2 already this season. So to get that touchdown, I wrote in the 5 Things thing again on Monday, just they got plenty of reason to celebrate because that was a team that lost a ton off of last year's team. Half the team was seniors. So coming back this year, they had some kids with some ability, but they had a lot of young kids that were going to have to step up and play key roles, and certainly something to celebrate over there at Lakeview Academy.
Yeah, and congratulations to Matthew Gruen, one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet that's in charge of a football team. And Lakeview Lions, yeah, you're right, man, they're making improvements. I mean, 2 close losses and then this close win, so congratulations to Lakeview. All right, we're going to take a break, come back, we'll talk more about the games from this past week. North Hall finds the win column. Flowery Branch stays in that column. More after this. High School Sports Unlimited rolling on. Thanks for being with us.
Do you have dinner plans? Come Come and enjoy casual fine dining right here in downtown Gainesville. Scott's on the Square welcomes you for dinner Tuesday through Saturday night. With only fresh, prime cuts of steak and seafood, Scott's on the Square guarantees you'll become a repeat customer. Ask about catering or scheduling your special event at Scott's on the Square, 110 Main Street. Call to make your dinner plans or make your reservations online at scottsonthesquare.com. Casual fine dining at its best is right here in Gainesville.
At the offices of Dr. Norman Peets, DDS on Green Street in Gainesville, patients have all their general dentistry needs explained. Ask about sedation dentistry. Dr. Peets' team of professionals puts you at ease. Dedicated, experienced professional. He's Gainesville's family dentist. Dr. Norman Peets, 615 Green Street in Gainesville.
All right, here we go. High School Sports Unlimited rolling on. You can check us on AccessNorthGA.com Wednesday afternoons and on WDUN TV. And then Thursday evening, 6 p.m. on 1240 ESPN Radio. And then Friday on 1240 at 3 p.m. as we get you ready for high school football every week all the way through the high school football season. Judd and Morgan, we will be with you. All right, let's get back to some other games coming up or that happened this past Friday. A big win for the North Hall Trojans. You know, the pressure kind of, I don't know. I mean, I would say it kind of mounting a little bit. 0-3. North Hall fans are used to winning, coming off last year's 5-5. They go out and really, they TCB, buddy. They take care of business against Walnut Grove in a pretty big way, putting up 48 points.
Yeah, and it was definitely a game that they needed to do that in just to get the feeling back. You know, you start 0-3 and you start to worry a little bit about when is this going to end. You know, I don't think that North Hall's players ever started to panic. But as a coaching staff, you want to go ahead and get those kids the feeling of a victory under their belt, especially before you start that sub-region season. Now all the games count toward the postseason. All the games count in the playoff race. So you wanted your kids to enter this stage of the season with a good feeling, and certainly they're going to do that after the game that they had this past Friday.
Monty Cross, you know what? I'm going to give Walnut Grove a lot of credit because Monty Cross didn't go for too many big, long runs. We've seen Amani go for 60, 70-yard runs. He had to kind of earn his yards, but he definitely did. Over 200 yards, 211 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns for him on 13 carries. So a good job by the offensive line kind of getting it done. And then Caleb Faulkner scores 3 touchdowns as well. They got a guy named Zach Little that can run the ball a little bit too. So it's not just Amani. You got some other guys in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's far from a one-man team. It's just that Amani is the big back.
So stinking good.
Yeah, the guy that you can't miss back there. And I think that certainly they've got other weapons, and they're going to have to show those weapons getting the sub-region season, because no matter how good you are, if you're just dependent on one guy, you're probably not going to be at the top of this sub-region as good as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Give Walnut Grove a little bit of credit. First of all, and Dan Kiley, the guy I did the game with on radio, kind of mentioned this. Walnut Grove has the look of a good team. They got some good athletes. I don't think they quite know where to be in certain situations, and they're kind of learning because that is a very new school. And I know I sent you a very random text message during the game on Friday. I said, is Walnut Grove's kicker going anywhere? But Tyler Zielinski is his name. Have you ever heard of him before?
No, it sounds like he's from Chicago or Pittsburgh or somewhere like that.
That boy can boot the ball, I'm telling you. So it could end up being a weapon for them. So Tyler Zielinski, a very good player for Walnut Grove. You had to practice that all day to be able to say it. So congratulations to North Hall. They have a pretty big game coming up this Friday against their crosstown, 9 mile apart rivals. We'll get to that in a little bit. Johnson just about gets their first win of the year, but they fall to Lumpkin County 30-21 in this one. This is just a 24-21 game with 6.5 minutes to play. Good job by Lumpkin County, kind of sticking with it and getting the win. A good job at Johnson. Again, they make another team kind of sweat.
Yeah, absolutely. Eventually, Johnson's gonna break through and get that win this year. Very, very unlucky, I think, to be 0-4 as hard as they play and as well as their coach. They pushed Lumpkin County the whole way. Lumpkin County got some big plays from Ian McIntosh, and I mean that ended up being the difference in the game, because certainly, Johnson was able to move the ball and make Lumpkin's defense sweat at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely. Logan Moy ends up scoring the game-winning touchdown, or I guess the touchdown to kind of seal it for Lumpkin County. So they get another win. Johnson sticks right with a team that's now 3-1 on the season. So the Knights, I'm with you. I think they're going to get over the hump at some point. All right, Gainesville gets a win. They beat Franklin County 42-13 is the final in this one. a little misleading by that score. It's a little bit closer than what indicated, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This was a 21-13 game in the third quarter, midway through the third quarter, and a lot of that was down to Gainesville just didn't see the ball on offense. Franklin County's triple option offense really gave Gainesville's defense a hard time early in the game, just getting the 3 yards in a cloud of dust and staying on the field. Once Gainesville did get the ball, they scored almost every time, and eventually Gainesville's defense adjusted at halftime and really started to shut Franklin County down. And that was when they were able to establish a cushion. I mean, they scored 3 touchdowns, I think, in the fourth quarter to make it look pretty easy, 42-13. But Gainesville, and I talked to Bruce Miller again earlier this week, and the thing that they learned is that they cannot take anybody lightly. I mean, they came off a big win against North Hall. They go to a Franklin County team that was 1-3, 1-2. I can't remember coming in. And, Bruce Miller feels like maybe his team did take him a little lightly, and it nearly bit him.
Yeah, it nearly did. I guess that's kind of the blueprint for beating Gainesville is that, they're going to get their yards, they're going to get their points when the offense is on the field. If you kind of, game plan and figure out a way to beat Gainesville, keep that offense off the field. I mean, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you've got a guy like Deshaun Watson who, again, 5 touchdowns on the night and running and passing all over the place, and the receivers that they've got between Key Harrison and Stephen Mason and Justin Cantrell, you don't want to see that offense on the field because unless you're Buford's defense, they're going to score points on you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Deshaun Watson scores 5 touchdowns in the game, 20 of 28 passing, 319 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns passing, and then another one rushing. That's, 13 touchdowns the last 2 games? I think. Didn't he have 8 against North Hall?
He had 14 after his first 3 games. He had 14 touchdowns after his first 3, so he's up to 19 touchdowns.
Is there a county record or something that we need to be looking up? And
probably, but I would wonder. Blake Sims has got to be pretty high on that. So
yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, it's a very good point. He had some big shoes to fill, but hey, man, he's just sophomore, and Watson's absolutely filling those shoes. There's no doubt about it. All right, Flowery Branch rolls again. They beat Rockdale County 51-0. Surprising thing about this game is that's their first shutout of the season. Really?
Yeah, crazy to think. A lot of teams have gotten garbage time touchdowns against Flowery Branch, or just scored one touchdown and that was it. So it was very nice for Flowery Branch to get that shutout on defense heading into the bye week. I don't think there's a better way that they could have capped off the first half of the season, frankly.
I would think that part of the reason for them not being able to pitch more shutouts than that is that their offense, I don't know, I would have to see the time possession. I'd say the other team wins the time possession more times. I mean, Flowery Branch goes right down the field. They have a lot of big play capability, right?
Oh, absolutely. With that spread offense, they're throwing to open guys. They're getting good long runs up the middle and on draws and things like that. They are not a grinded out sort of team. So yeah, frankly, you're right. I haven't seen him this year yet either, and I'm going to remedy that the second half of the season. But I would tend to think that the defense spends a little bit more time on the field than the offense.
We'll go through the polls here in a little bit, but Flowery Branch, they get to move up a spot too. Now they're third in the
number
state.
3 in 4A. That's not too shabby.
Number 3. So only Tucker and Northside Warner Robins, a couple teams that know a little something about being on the top of the polls, are ahead of them. So Flowery Branch rolls again, 51-0, and they have the bye week this week. Hab Central wins again. They beat Madison County again. The defense gives up some points, but again, the offense gets you plenty as well. They win this one 41-24.
Kevin Ellison may be, we talk about Deshaun Watson. Kevin Ellison may be the best player in North Georgia this year. What he's put up week in, week out has just been ridiculous. And another big game last week, 259 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground, and threw for 2 more touchdowns. The kid is unstoppable. I mean, like we've said in weeks before, everybody knows Habersham's offense revolves around him, and yet they still can't stop him.
I'd like to see how this team, because they run the triple option. Is that pretty much what
they do?
There's only one option. I mean, not that the other kids can't do it, but I mean, look at all these yards and all these points he puts up. It's like, okay, he's going to keep it. Let's try to get him, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah, he's. It's a shame that I have not seen him play either. Again, something. Flowery Branch, and we were talking about Flowery Branch, not seeing them and not seeing Hammer. Well, guess what? They play each other in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to remedy that.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so there you go. So Hab Central gets a win, and they get over the 500 mark, and I guess they're tied for 4th right now in the region. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a bottleneck.
That's what you expect.
Yeah, outside of the top 2, they've got. They're tied with Salem currently at 3-2, but they've got the win over Salem, so that's nice. Nice to have in the back pocket. I think most importantly was that they got a road victory. They were 2-2 coming into that game. Two wins at home, 2 losses on the road. They went on the road, and even though again they probably expected to beat Madison County on the road, you don't ever take a road victory for granted, no matter what region you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. A game that I don't know how much you know about, to be totally honest with you. Oglethorpe County beats East Jackson 30-0. I mean, that was, to me, kind of a shocker game. I mean, East Jackson had been rolling through the season.
A little bit of a shock. Oglethorpe County we knew was good coming into this season, a lot better than they had been, and certainly some athleticism and size. And Brian Smith, the head coach at East Jackson, was wary of this game, and we see why. I mean, East Jackson, like you said, I don't know that they had been dominant, but they had enough big plays to be 3-1 coming into that game, and then Oglethorpe just takes it and goes the other way with it.
Yeah, exactly. A humbling loss for them, so maybe they learned something from that and kind of bounced back. Still, it's been a very good first half of the season for East Jackson. Jumping up to 5A real quick, a game that we thought might be close. Norcross beats Mill Creek 41-34, but Mill Creek comes back in this thing and makes it kind of interesting.
Yeah, crazy game. It was Norcross jumped out to a 20-7 lead. Ends up being tied 27-27 in the fourth quarter. And then they just start going back and forth, and whoever had the ball last was going to win the game, basically, and it ended up being Norcross. John Rush, the quarterback for Mill Creek, he missed the week before when they got upset by Mountain View. Came back, and he had 239 total yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, the guy is one of the better players in the state. And when he's playing for Mill Creek, Norcross is a top 10 team, and they push him to the limit. So when he's playing well, you can't ever count out Mill Creek.
Yeah, look out for Mill Creek. All right, taking a look real quick at the polls. In 5A, North Gwinnett gets a very easy win against Meadow Creek. Most teams do. And they are at number 7 right now. North Gwinnett 4-1 on the year. Flowery Branch, as we said, jumps up to number 3 in Class 4A. Buford remains on top in Class AA. And dadgummit, Jefferson still just 1 vote.
I know.
1 vote. So they got to get more.
I'd like to find out who that 1 vote is. If it's coming from somebody local or somebody out.
They need more than that, man. They're good.
Yeah, I think if as we'll talk about here in a second, if they get a win this weekend, surely they'll start getting more than 1.
That's exactly. You're exactly right. And our previews are coming up. I mean, Vidalia's ahead of them. Vidalia. What does Vidalia have?
Onions.
Onions. That's exactly right. So there you go.
Good onions.
They're good onions, but that's it. All right, so there's a look at the polls. And, yeah, you're right. Jefferson has a very big game coming up this week, and we are going to get the previews here in the next half of the show because there's some good matchups. A big, big rivalry in North Hall that can have a lot of implications as far as playoffs are concerned, and it should be a very good game. That one on the way as well. Coming up next, we'll have your Player of the Week, though, presented by Gainesville JCs as your High School Sports Unlimited rolls on, getting you ready for Week 6 of the high school football season. Be right back.
Do you have dinner plans? Come and enjoy casual fine dining right here in downtown Gainesville. Scott's on the Square welcomes you for dinner Tuesday through Saturday night. With only fresh, prime cuts of steak and seafood, Scott's on the Square guarantees you'll become a repeat customer. Ask about catering or scheduling your special event at Scott's on the Square, 110 Main Street. Call to make your dinner plans or make your reservations online at scottsonthesquare.com. Casual fine dining at its best is right here in Gainesville.
At the offices of Dr. Norman Peets, DDS on Green Street in Gainesville, patients have all their general dentistry needs explained. Ask about sedation dentistry. Dr. Peets' team of professionals puts you at ease. Dedicated, experienced professional. He's Gainesville's family dentist. Dr. Norman Peets, 615 Green Street in Gainesville.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Ron Wilson. At Wilson Orthodontics, we've helped thousands of people just like you get that perfect, healthy smile they've always dreamed of. And we do that by using state-of-the-art orthodontic technology. Children and adults love our exciting Georgia Bulldogs game room.
Come in and experience the atmosphere.
Our team is the best around, and they treat all our patients like they're part of the family.
They were so nice to me.
Call us today to schedule your free consultation, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
I will not march blindly into the fluorescent light of Monday morning to a job I do not love. I will not go with the flow. I am not a carbon copy. I will visit this website before tomorrow because I refuse to work for the weekend, even if everyone is working for the weekend. Today, I will find a job that I love. Today, I will find my career happiness.
Do you have dinner plans? Come and enjoy casual fine dining right here in downtown Gainesville. Scott's on the Square welcomes you for dinner Tuesday through Saturday night. With only fresh, prime cuts of steak and seafood, Scott's on the Square guarantees you'll become a repeat customer. Ask about catering or scheduling your special event at Scott's on the Square, 110 Main Street. Call to make your dinner plans or make your reservations online at scottsonthesquare.com. Casual fine dining at its best is right here in Gainesville.
At the offices of Dr. Norman Peets, DDS on Green Street in Gainesville, patients have all their general dentistry needs explained. Ask about sedation dentistry. Dr. Peets' team of professionals puts you at ease. Dedicated, experienced professional. He's Gainesville's family dentist. Dr. Norman Peets, 615 Green Street in Gainesville.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Ron Wilson. At Wilson Orthodontics, we've helped thousands of people just like you get that perfect, healthy smile they've always dreamed of. And we do that by using state-of-the-art orthodontic technology. Children and adults love our exciting Georgia Bulldogs game room.
Come in and experience the atmosphere.
Our team is the best around, and they treat all our patients like they're part of the family.
They were so nice to me.
Call us today to schedule your free consultation, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
I will not march blindly into the fluorescent light of Monday morning to a job I do not love. I will not go with the flow. I am not a carbon copy. I will visit this website before tomorrow because I refuse to work for the weekend, even if everyone is working for the weekend. Today, I will find a job that I love. Today, I will find my career happiness.
All right, welcome back to High School Sports Unlimited. Again, you can hear us 1240 ESPN, 6 p.m. Thursday, 3 p.m. on Friday. And also on Wednesday afternoons when we first cut this bad boy. And that's on accessnorthga.com. On WDUN TV, you can see Morgan's shining, smiling face for an entire hour. All right, no, you can when you watch on accessnorthga.com on Wednesdays, you can see the video highlights of different games that we have attended, and you can take a look at guys like Amani Cross taking off and running for 1,000 yards. Speaking of Amani Cross, it's time to get to our Gainesville JC's Player of the Week, presented by Jacobs Media, and we are going to go to North Hall High School, and the standout, number 7, Amani Cross. Boys had an amazing start to 2011. Morgan Lee able to go and give him his award.
Monty, obviously a big game last week. You've had several games where you've rolled up some big yards, but last week you finally get into the win column. Talk about what it was like as a team to experience that.
Well, it was good for our team. We struggled for 3 weeks straight, and then coming out and building some momentum was very important. So it was a good win for us.
Talk about what it's been like this season. Last year you had the injury, took about a half a season to be able to play. Talk about what it's been like this year, just being able to go full speed the whole time.
Just the whole fact of me helping the team, better and me having the opportunity to go all 10 games, hopefully, I think makes a big difference in terms of leadership and everything else that comes with it.
Talk a little bit about, obviously you got a big win or a big game coming up this week, that bad start, you don't like it, but you can put it out of your mind now. It really doesn't matter all that much. Talk about, kind of your mindset as a team coming into this week.
Well, our mindset as a team it's the same as it's been all the other weeks. Try to do the little things and try to execute. And I think that those games that we lost helped us expose those things that we need to work on, and that's what we work on in practice. So, our goal is to just try to execute to the best of our ability.
Offensively, y'all have put up numbers. You've rolled up yards on everybody. What do you feel like, is the biggest thing that y'all, have need to improve on to get where you want to be?
Consistency, first, second, third, and fourth quarter. I don't feel like, we have been consistent the whole game. I feel like we're getting there, but we're still not there as a team yet.
Could you imagine a better way to start the sub-region? Playing against a big rival in a key game like this, how excited are y'all?
Extremely excited. We're trying to prepare the best that we can, but, everybody's hyped up and we're excited.
All right, well, listen, I appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We're going to call him Mr. because he's big enough. He earns the right. No, Amani Cross going to University of Tennessee next year. He's going to be a Vol, and I think he's going to be a very good, very, very good running back. A pretty impressive guy. Pretty, just in general.
Yeah, that whole family is full of impressive athletes who are also very impressive people, and he certainly is both physically and just his demeanor and his whole body language, etc. I mean, his command of the English language is just it's not like your typical high school 18-year-old, that's
right.
for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you go from Ajan, big defensive lineman, and then you go to Amani, who's a big bruising running back, and then he has a brother, and forgive me, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he is a tall, skinny wide receiver. It's like, boy, you got 3 different guys there and 3 different body types. So, but I'm sure he's going to be up and be able to play too. So there you go. All right, speaking of Amani Cross, by the way, Player of the Week brought to you by Gainesville JCs and Jacobs Media. All right, let's stick with Amani Cross's team. North Hall, they're going to be at home as we check out the games coming up this Friday, week 6 overall of the high school football season. We get sub-region play started. It's game number 5 for both these teams. Chestatee at North Hall. In a lot of ways, this has got to be the game of the week around these parts. Even though, look at the records, War Eagles are 3-1 and the Trojans are 1-3. This is usually a hard-hitting game, and these are between a couple teams filled with kids that know each other.
Yeah, you're talking about next-door neighbors, backyard rivals, whatever you want to call it. This is 2 teams that Chestatee, I guess, certainly feels like little brother because they were kind of cold from North Hall 10 years ago. And are just 1-8, I believe, in the series against Big Brother, against North Hall. Mm-hmm. So they desperately want to get a victory. Coach Stan Luttrell hasn't coached a team to a victory over North Hall yet, and so he'd love to get one. Certainly, I think this is going to be one of the most interesting and hard-fought games in the entire state this weekend.
Big Brother's watching, always watching. One bad thing for Chestatee, something that happened last week against Monroe area, they end up giving up 331 rushing yards in that ball game. North Hall likes to keep it on the ground. They're going to have to clean that up a little bit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a little different type of game than Monroe because everybody in Monroe's backfield, as soon as they touched it, they were a threat to go the distance. I'm not sure it's quite the same at North Hall. Amani obviously has that huge breakaway speed, but Monroe is just another level of speed. I think that I really think that this is going to be more of a grind it, just pound it sort of game on both sides. Both a couple teams that like to run the ball, although, as we saw last week, Chestatee doesn't mind throwing the ball either.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, this is something that's kind of morphed because I think through the years, you've Big Brother, Small Brother, they kind of had the same offense where they like to keep it on the ground. Chestatee has kind of grown out of that a little bit. I agree with you. I think that if they had their choice, they'd want to keep it on the ground. But you got Jordan DeGraff, who's doing a great job throwing the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And unlike in years past, Chestatee may have the fastest athlete on the field in Brandon Thompson.
Yeah.
He burned Monroe's defensive backs on an 80-yard touchdown run early in the third quarter there to kind of spark that comeback. So I think this is – I'm just really excited about this game. I think it's going to be one of the best, throw out the records, throw out the implications, et cetera, et cetera. It's just going to be a good old-fashioned football game.
It's going to be good implications, though, because sub-region play starts this week. So these games have everything to do as far as the playoffs are concerned. North Hall coming off a good win against Walnut Grove. Chestatee coming off a good loss against Monroe area, as good as it can be, of course. 41-35, good comeback by Chestatee. That game going to be on radio on 102.9 FM on WDUN. All right, West Hall at Walnut Grove, a couple of teams that have kind of struggled this year. West Hall 0-4, and Walnut Grove is 1-3. But I think this is a chance for the Spartans to go out and get a win in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. West Hall is going to be looking at this, saying, "Okay, now is the time." Certainly, starting off 0-4, nobody wants to do that, but you can wipe the slate clean. Easy enough for somebody else to say.
Either way,
the slate. And the sub-region season begins this week. Everything that happened beforehand, it has a bearing, but it doesn't really matter now. You can still, as crazy as it sounds, you can be 0-4 at this point and win the region. Mm-hmm. That's how you've got to look at it.
Was it West Hall or Johnson last year? One of them had a chance in the last week, and I think they were 3-6.
Johnson ended up 2-8, and at that point they were 2-7 going into the play-in game. And if they had won, they would have gone to the playoffs. I do believe. So certainly the way things set up, you are never out of this thing, and I kind of like it that way because especially
keeps teams in a long.
Yeah, as a former player, and you never want to just all of a sudden look up and be, all right, we're out of it, and it's already started. I mean, we're only halfway through the season, so I appreciate this setup. I think that West Hall is going to come out motivated. They're going to feel like this is a game they can win, even though Walnut Grove does have a lot of athletes. I expect them to give it everything they got.
This is a game that West Hall won last year, 48-10. This is a different Walnut Grove team, though. This is a team that's going to be coming in really ready to play. So that game going to be at Warrior Stadium in Walnut Grove. Decatur going to be at Buford. Poor Decatur. They have 2 wins on the year. They're 2-3. I don't know if they're going to get their third against Buford.
Not looking good for the deck. I would say that
that's my hood, man.
Yeah, listen, I like the deck as much as the next guy, but they don't have much of a football team this year, I don't think. And Buford really, unless they just totally mail it in, I don't see this being very close.
This is all right. If you want a blueprint on how to beat Buford, okay. Lovett has they've got it. Okay, you ready? Make Buford make about 12 penalties each half. Okay, give them their 500 yards of offense, and then just hope for, because your offense ain't going to get more than 150 yards of total offense. So hope for 1 or 2 really big plays and maybe a couple turnovers in there. So like 5 Buford turnovers, about 25 penalties. And now all of a sudden you're like a 10-7 dogfight.
Or maybe you could sneak the Alabama roster onto your sideline for the night.
No, half the Alabama roster, half the kids at Buford are going to Alabama. So
Dylan Lee especially.
There you go, exactly. All right, so Decatur at Buford. The Wolves are going to feast on some Decatur Bulldogs. Is that right?
Yes, the Bulldogs.
All right, very good. Decatur is coming off a win though against Terrell. 19-6 last week, a team that Buford, I think, I don't even know how they put up a lot of points against them. All right, we'll take a break. We come back. We will have a lot more previews as we get you ready for Friday night action. High School Sports Unlimited rolling on.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Ron Wilson. At Wilson Orthodontics, we've helped thousands of people just like you get that perfect, healthy smile they've always dreamed of. And we do that by using state-of-the-art orthodontic technology. Children and adults love our exciting Georgia Bulldogs game room.
Come in and experience the atmosphere.
Our team is the best around, and they treat all our patients like they're part of the family.
They were so nice to me.
Call us today to schedule your free consultation, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
I will not march blindly into the fluorescent light of Monday morning to a job I do not love. I will not go with the flow. I am not a carbon copy. I will visit this website before tomorrow because I refuse to work for the weekend, even if everyone is working for the weekend. Today, I will find a job that I love. Today, I will find my career happiness.
High School Sports Unlimited rolling on. 6 p.m. Thursdays, 3 p.m. Fridays on 1240 ESPN Radio as far as radio is concerned. And you can watch us and watch the highlights. We recorded on Wednesday afternoon and on AccessNorthGA.com. Just go to the little blue tab, WDUN AM FM TV, and then go down to the on-demand section. And you can find us every week. There's a sports section just for everything going on as far as what we cover. The Jacobs Family Media, not only radio, but we are all over them internets as well. All right, before we get back to the football previews and what's coming up on the air, because we will have 3 different games coming up, we have some action not on the football field. We got some history made as far as softball is concerned, and some things coming up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Angie Hughes, the pitcher for Union County, just became the 7th ever player in the entire state to notch her 1,000th strikeout for a career. It's the lead story. Usually we lead with football during football season, but I figure you get 1,000 strikeouts, you deserve a lead, and she's up there right now. Many thanks to Todd Forrest, who's been helping me out with some stats this season from Union County, and she is as dominant as they come. Obviously, I mean, it's the 2nd ever player in Class AA and the 1st in Region 8AA to ever do this, and certainly she deserves a lot of kudos, and she led Union County to a couple of impressive appearances at the state tournament. This year's region tournament will be getting underway next week, so hopefully a 3rd in a row coming up pretty soon. Last year they finished 2nd at Buford. So certainly everything heating up on the softball diamond. Region 8AA, 8 AAA, 8 4A, they're all going to be hot and heavy with their region tournaments here in the next week. And then later next week, all the volleyball tournaments start up, so it's really the postseason is here for fall sports.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we talk a lot about football. A lot of people care about football, but yeah, there are other sports going on. And I've covered those softball tournaments before. Those things are fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun watching. I mean, it's good action out there.
Yeah, absolutely. This year we haven't had as many local teams necessarily tearing it up, at least in 8 AAA that we would like. But 8 AA, I think, is taking over that mantle with Union County and Dawson County and Fannin County all having really good teams. East Hall's had a pretty good season, so it's been an exciting year. I think that there's a lot more to come, especially for Angie Hughes and Union County, and I think Dawson and Fannin both are going to have a lot to say in the state tournament when all's said and done.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you can check out all that, and Morgan does a great job of getting it all ready, not only football stuff, but the other fall sports as well. AccessNorthGA.com, the high school sports section. All right, back to the Gridiron games coming up on Friday. East Hall going to be at home. They'll be taking on Rabun County. Both teams are 2-2. Both teams coming off buys as well, but a chance for the Vikings to get back over the 500 mark after a couple of tough games against a couple of tough competitors.
Yeah, I think those two games hopefully will have set them up well for the sub-region run that they're about to begin. I don't think they're going to face anybody in 8 AA North that's quite as good as Elbert County or maybe a Dayersville. Two games that obviously kind of knocked them off a nice start, but certainly I think provided them with some learning experiences and the ability to see what they needed to work on in that bye week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think Brian Gray, there's a fine line being a coach. I mean, you lose a couple games like that, you don't want the kids to be too down. You want them to kind of learn something from those games. And I think there's definitely something to be learned from both those losses the East Hall had. So Vikings going to be at home. That game going to be in Rabbittown against Rabun County. Maybe the game of the week around these parts. We talked about Chestatee North Hall. It's a great matchup. I mean, anytime you have a good rivalry game, I'm there, man. But North Oconee 4-0, Jefferson is 4-0 in the Rough and Tumble Region 8 AA. This is a very big game.
Absolutely. You're talking about two teams that are undefeated, two teams with serious region title and state playoff aspirations. If they're going to do that, they got to get past each other. And then eventually Elbert County is looming for both of these teams too. So to be able to knock off Elbert, you got to start with a win here. And both teams have, both teams kind of. I think it's going to be a nice juxtaposition because you've got the offense for Jefferson, you've got a really nice defense for North Oconee. I would love to be able to be there, but unfortunately, with all the stuff I got to take care of on Friday night, I got to stay a little bit more local. So, but I think this is going to be certainly one of the best games in the state this week.
They're both in the south sub-region of 8 AA, so you have North Oconee, Jefferson, and like I said, Elbert as well. So this is an enormous game because you're jockeying for one of those two positions. Those are the two positions to go to the playoffs. Is that right?
Well, they have a play-in game, so you can finish third in the sub-region and still have a chance. I can't remember if it was Hart County or North Oconee that finished third last year and still got in the playoffs because they won their play-in game. But still, you don't want to have to go on the road. So that means you want to finish top of your sub-region because the two sub-region champs play each other for 1 and 2. But again, to do that, you got to get past this game, and then whoever wins this is going to have to get past Elbert too. So, but this is the Jefferson's had a couple of nice tests. Getting over Hart County pretty easily. Hart County played North Oconee pretty tough last week, but I don't know that that's necessarily an indication of how this game is going to go.
Yeah, the last team both these teams played was Hart County. North Oconee won 28-20, and Jefferson won 57-29. This is a game, though, that North Oconee won last year 35-22. And Morgan said it. Morgan said earlier in the show, Jefferson, you win this game, you might get more than one vote. They need to get a lot more than one vote. They're a very, very good team. So there you go. That game at Memorial Stadium in Jefferson. All right, Gainesville goes on the road to take on a familiar team in Johnson, the Knights. Gainesville at Johnson in this one. Gainesville's 3-1. Johnson is 0-4. It's going to be a tough uphill battle for the Knights to be able to get a win here. But again, they've made teams sweat in the past.
Well, they played everybody tough, and you talk to every coaching staff that I've talked to that's preparing to face Johnson just is scratching their heads at how Johnson hasn't won a game yet. They've been very unlucky, and I expect Johnson to against an old rival like Gainesville to play as hard as they can, and I think it's going to be a really interesting game.
It is, and playing Gainesville is tough because it's kind of like a track meet, and so Johnson guys got to be ready to run a little bit because they spread you out and they run all over the place. So there you go. Gainesville 3-1. Johnson is 0-4, but Johnson played very well against a team that's now 3-1 in Lumpkin County. All right, Winder Barrow going to be at Hab Central. Habersham is 3-2. Winder is 0-4. So maybe the Raiders can. Hey, congratulate! By the way, last year we didn't mention this with Habersham Central. They beat Madison County. They had a 14-point lead at halftime, and they kept that 14-point lead. They didn't blow it. So that's good.
Yeah, they finally got rid of the kind of roller coaster type games last week, and hopefully they can do that again this week against a Winder team that's riding an 18-game losing streak. Unfortunately,
oh boy,
yeah, it's just a team that's in a big transition, new coaching staff, and they're learning and getting better. But I'm sure that Habersham playing at home is going to expect to win this game.
Absolutely. So Winder 0-4, but this is a game that Hab Central only won 21-0 last year. So you saw Winder right in the middle of that losing streak last season, and they played Hab Central pretty close. So the Raiders are going to be at home. Raider Stadium, Mount Airy, 7:30 kickoff. Kevin Ellison will definitely be there. All right, White County at Lumpkin County. This is one of the good old rivalries around the area, too. These two teams, in a good football way, don't really like each other.
No, neighbors, and familiarity brings contempt. Isn't that the old saying?
I think it is.
So, yeah, it's. I expect a good game here. White County had the week off last week to kind of work through some things. They've had a couple of tough, close losses this year. They really feel like they could be 3-1 instead of 1-3. It should be another good game. Two teams that like to run the ball. I think Lumpkin County. I know both teams actually can throw the ball pretty well when they need to, and I think they've shown that this year. White's gone over to the triple option offense, so it's going to be tough for every defense to really and truly stop them. They may be able to slow them down, but White still put up numbers on people this year. So I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
I get to say this because it's usually Morgan saying this. I just got off the phone with Bill Ballard a little while ago.
There you go.
Yes, thank you very much. No, I actually did talk to Coach Ballard and asked him about the option offense, and he said, he thinks the kids have really each week they're getting better and better. They had over 400 yards of offense the last time out. So, I mean, that's where familiarity actually helps out.
Yeah, absolutely. No contempt.
Yeah, absolutely. No contempt at all. So White County at Lumpkin County at the Burial Grounds in Dahlonega. White 1-3. Lumpkin is 3-1. But White County won this game last year 21-14. All right, East Jackson. This is a dangerous game, I think, for East Jackson because they're coming off that 30-0 loss against Oglethorpe County. They got to go to Hart County, a team that's 2-3 on the year. East Jackson's 3-2. East Jackson had a very good start to the season, but they're coming off that tough loss, and they're facing a team that's very good in Hart County.
Yeah, Hart County is not a bad team at all, especially to be 0-2 in that sub-region. I think that tells you how good that sub-region is. Granted, that 0-2 is against Jefferson and North Oconee. I think that East Jackson is kind of in between a rock and a hard place because Hart County is not a bad team, and they're going to be really, really psyched up to get a victory. East Jackson obviously is going to. I think they're going to be in the same way. They've got a couple of really good standouts, and the quarterback and the running back, and it's going to be a big game if they can get some big plays offensively. They're going to have a good chance. A game that really could define, I think, East Jackson's season if they can get a win.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I think it's that important. I think they really do need to go out there and get a win this week. All right, taking a look at the radio schedule and what you can expect on the airwaves on AM 550 WDUN. Rabun County will be at East Hall, that game in Rabbittown. The Vikings will be at home, so that game on AM 550. Over on FM 102.9 WDUN. Chestatee at North Hall. Great rivalry game. That one should be a very good one. Some fireworks of two very capable offenses going against each other and kids that live right next door to each other, sometimes in the same neighborhood. That one going to be on FM 102.9. And then Gainesville will be at Johnson. That game on 1240 ESPN Radio, where you can find all the Gainesville high school games. So there you go. So you can tune in for all of them. You start with the Cotton Eye Joe's pregame show. And that's going to be at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock pregame from the stadiums and kickoff 7:30 for all three of those ball games. Where are you going this week?
I think I may make my way up to the Brickyard. It's going to be a really fun game, I think.
I think it's going to be a very fun game. Monty Cross and that big offensive line against the stable running backs and Chestatee, a team that absolutely believes in itself. So there you go. So those are three games that are going to be on radio, so check them out. We're going to have all kinds of action on Friday night. Morgan, appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate it.
Yes. Scott McIntyre producing at the Behind the controls, there he is, wearing his Jackson County red.
Panthers, baby.
Yes, he is very proud.
Panther
man.
pride.
It's been a rough year for Jackson County, but Scott McIntyre, you still have his love, no doubt about it. All right, that'll do it for us. High School Sports Unlimited is done. Enjoy the games. We'll be back next week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.